definitely grown a lot over the years. I left the WCA in 2013, and probably about 2 or 3 years I'll be doing it already. I have a 9-month-old son now. We're trying to get him to not eat the cube. So I just wanted to give a little bit of history in terms of what's happened over the last 13 years with cubing, and just to let people know what that means a little bit today. I'm not going to comment too much on exactly what's going on today, because I have a discussion with the WCA board, and I wanted to have that discussion before I go further on that. But anyway, so I learned to solve the Rubik's Cube in 2003. In 2003 in August, there was a World Championships in Toronto. Dan Knights won this competition with an average of 20.00 seconds. And after that, there was no other competitions around. And I'm sitting around thinking, well, I kind of don't want to wait another 21 years for another competition. So I got this idea to start hosting these competitions on the local side. And it was really helpful that there was an eighth grader nearby named Shikara Makasumi, who was one of the top cubers. So I knew that by hosting this event with a cuber of that caliber, I'd have legitimacy. There was always this, we had this difficulty in terms of the Rubik's brand very, very early on. The 2x2, the original 2x2 made by Rubik's was a really, really terrible cube. I don't know if any of you have used one. I might still have one at home. It's phenomenally terrible. Which is it's understandable, right? Because it wasn't a product that sold very much, and so there wasn't really much innovation. Oh, just for context, by the way, in 2003 I was 19 years old. So I know along the way I made plenty of mistakes I wouldn't have made, now, but I was 19, so what do I know, right? So the 2x2 was really terrible, and there's another company called Eastsheen that made this 2x2 Rubik's Cube that was significantly better. Now, Rubik's has this whole, kind of trademark thing, and Eastsheen tried to get around it by replacing the orange stickers with purple. So then we get to the World Championships in 2005. We get the World Championship in 2005, and there's this kind of rule in place that only Rubik's branded cubes are allowed. Keep in mind, there's no other suitable 3x3x3 cube at this time. And so we're all using, these Rubik's branded 2x2s, and I meet the Masayuki Akimoto, who was at the time, he was our board member actually from Japan, and he's showing me his 2x2. I'm like, wait a second, this 2x2 is larger, than mine. This turns, I just simply have more leverage on this cube, right? Where did you get, how are you using this cube? And he's like, oh, they saw this one in Japan. So, and then another cuber, Adam Zamora, pointed, oh yeah, actually if you go to Disneyland and you buy the Harry Potter cube, the Harry Potter 2x2, you can get this cube. So that was kind of the first moment where it was okay, equipment matters, right? The quality of equipment matters and access to equipment matters. So that's kind of one part. The second part is back in 2004 when I first started getting things started. I contacted Guinness, because we didn't really have, the WCA was just starting. It was okay, how do we get a Guinness World Record on board? So they wrote back to me and they said, you need an independent verifier who will scramble the cube by hand, and you need to use 2 cubes out of the box. And cubers these days are just really lucky. I use this cube to speed cube. I'm about the same as I was 10 years ago, but I did no work, and this thing cost me $2. So before we all had to take the cubes apart. We would spray them with snapped silicone spray, which comes in this blue can. Let them dry. Put the cube back together. Wipe off all the carcinogenic chemicals. Re-sticker it. And it was preparing the cube was building a lightsaber, right? These puzzles were not that great, but with preparation you could get them good. You could get them better. So it's just there's just so much variability with the Rubik's Cube out of the box that back then, that it just absolutely made no sense, right? You're not going to be used to this cube. The problem here at the core was that people who didn't really understand the hobby or the sport or what this was all about was trying to make rules about it. And so that was kind of the first indication to me that, okay, we can't really work with Guinness. We're just going to do what we're doing, and in time, Guinness is going to listen to us. And I think by 2007, when Guinness published their book, Lee and Lowe's 11.13 second solve was in there as a world record. And at that point, I was like, yes, I've gotten Guinness to accept the WCA records as the authority on these types of on cubing records. So then we get to 2007. So 2006, another Chinese cube manufacturer started trying to innovate. There are terms of cubes called the Type A, Type C cube. They were a little bit better. And then they came out with the Type F cube in 2007. And this cube was like phenomenal. Like, it was so much better than anything that we used in the past. So Rubik as a company over the last 13 years has really not spent any effort innovating on their product. And even up until recently, until whatever this new speed cube that they released, they did very, very minimal innovation. I think the only step of innovation that they did was sometime around 2008, 2009, when they released the DIY set. Back then, DIY cubes were really the rage, right? Because you could tune everything, but you kind of had to tune everything to get it to work well. But they've instead really kind of relied on their IP or their trademark to protect their position. For any of you guys, you know, who have any legal experience, you'll know the familiar term, a patent troll. That's essentially what's been going on. And I think they made a miscalculation, I want to say, you know, very early on. This idea that Rubik was selling, you know, hundreds of millions of cubes around the world, and speed cubers only represented a population, you know, maybe a population at that time in the thousands. Well, cubing grew a lot, and there's another dynamic here in the sense that, you know, someone who buys a Rubik's branded cube will only buy one cube. But I'm pretty confident that everyone in this room probably averages like at least 20, right? I used to have like a big box full of cubes. And so they kind of missed the train, and now they're trying to defend their position again with based off of trademarks. There are a couple things that I think, well, so there are many thoughts and many layers to this situation, and I'll be around. I'm going to actually try to do a competition average for the first time in 4 years, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll stick around if anyone wants to ask questions, and I'll be able to say things with less of a filter in a one-on-one setting that's not recorded. But, you know, I think one of the things I want people to think about is the independence of you know, of the WCA and these types of events from corporate interests and, you know, in profitability. If you think about even going back to 2008 Olympics in Beijing, the Speedo laser swimsuit was a huge issue, right? And right around that time, we had the same issue with, you know, the VQ 5x5. So like, at the end of the day though, you know, we're all doing this for fun. I think the community has grown a lot. And I think the community is in a position to really support itself and move this thing forward without external involvement. So that's just something to think about. The exact execution of that plan, I think, is something I don't want to say while being recorded because it's still in discussion. But I'll stick around, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'll take a couple of questions right now if anyone has them. Okay, yeah, so I don't want to delay the competition. Certainly one of the metrics I always talked about was number of cube salts per hour per timer. So we'll see how well that goes today. And I'll stick around, and if anyone wants to chat, I'll be around.
All right, we're going to hand this back over to the organizers today, so Graham or Nittany.